Lessons with Miss H, and today we're doing a visit to the forest. Okay, and how are we going to read this? We're going to use a spade strategy. We're going to survey the text. We're going to write a prediction. We're going to annotate the text. We're going to dissect the questions, and we're going to use text evidence to support our answer. So if you notice, there's 2 questions. So Ms. Hernandez will do the first one with you, and then my expectation is that you do the second one by yourself, dissecting, annotating, and picking the correct answer, hopefully. All right? So, a visit to the forest. That's the title. Oh, look, we have captions. Captions are words that give us information about a photograph. Captions, photographs. Photograph. Look, a bear and a cub. Caption. So now I'm going to write my prediction. I predict this text will give us information about a forest. So, how do we determine how we're going to annotate a story? We look at the text features after surveying the text. So here we see a photograph and a caption, which means most likely this is an informative text. So informative means it wants to teach us something. So if it wants to teach us something, most likely it's maybe a scientific type of teaching, like science. That's how I remember, right? So probably we will not have a character, setting, problem, and solution. So what we're going to do is we're going to underline, we're going to circle the animals, right? That's how I know we're going to have animals. And then we're going to underline the sentence that tells us something cool about that animal, all right? So here we go. A visit to the forest. A forest is an interesting place to visit. So we already know that's the setting. They're talking about what? A forest. There are lots of trees and plants around. So they're talking about trees and plants. Many animals make their homes in the forest. Okay. You might find beavers making a dam in the stream. Beavers, what do? They live in the dam on the stream, in the stream. You could also see a woodpecker pecking a hole in a tree and looking for insects. Ooh. A bear might be walking through the forest with her cubs, with her babies. Visiting a forest would be a fun adventure. All right, so what animals did they talk about? They talked about beavers, a woodpecker, and a bear and her cubs, right? These are the 3 photographs we have here. They gave us 1 key detail about each animal. These are 3 key details, right? So, what is the main idea? A forest is an interesting place to visit. All right? So that's how we know the main idea usually is in the beginning of our story. Our author likes to start the story strong, and they'll start with the main idea. All right, now let's go to dissect the question. The story says that, remember what Ms. Hernandez told you yesterday. Whenever it says that the story says that, that's most likely a main idea question. All right? Bears and their cubs look for a home in the forest. They did not say that at all. They said a bear might be walking through the forest with her cubs. That's false. We can't even label that a key detail. That's false. Some birds make holes in trees for their homes. Let me see. You could also find you could also see a woodpecker pecking. You could also see a woodpecker pecking a hole in the tree and looking for insects. No, they're not looking they're not making their homes in a tree by making holes. They're looking for insects. That's also false. But this is why I want you to follow along in the videos, because a lot of these details, if I don't go back in the story and I just work on my memory based on what I read, I'll be like, yeah, they were looking for their homes. That's what the story said. So yes and no. They said many animals make their homes in the forest, right? But sometimes what happens is when we read a story one time, we will remember it the easiest way we can. That's what our brains do. This is why it is very important for us to go back in the story and make sure we check our answers always. Let me see. There are only trees and plants in a forest. Did they say that at all? No. It says here, trees and plants. There are lots of trees and plants. So far, the first three answers they have given us are completely false, which means the last one should be the answer, right? A forest is a good place to visit to see different things. Oh my goodness. That kind of matches. A forest is an interesting place to visit. Wow. Okay. So if you notice, they did not say it exactly how it's in the story. They used synonyms. A forest is a good place, interesting place to visit, And what about visiting it? You can see what? Different things. What kinds of different things can you see in a forest? Trees, plants, beavers, woodpeckers, bears, and cubs. All right? This is why it's very important to follow along as I am showing you how I'm thinking out loud in these videos, guys, okay? Remember, even though I am not in the classroom with you, I still want you to do your best every day. And when we do come back to school, my expectation is that you are watching these videos and you are learning, okay? Because we are going to come back to school. It's not like school's over for the rest of your life or our lives. We're going to come back. And when we come back, remember I told you I'm going to pick this packet up. And this is going to be your grade for the semester or for the days that we're out. So now, after my rant, you can go to number 5. You're going to read it. You're going to dissect it. You're going to read each answer. You're going to see which answer does not make sense. Then you're going to pick the best answer and go back in the story and find where it says that answer to support it. All right? Ready, set, go. All right, so my expectation is that you dissected the question. That means you circle a few keywords and then you write what synonyms or other ways to say those keywords. Then you're going to determine what kind of answer each answer is. Is it a good answer or a bad answer? Is it a false answer? Is it a key detail? Okay, is it the right answer? And if you think it's the right answer, you're gonna go back in the story. You're gonna find where you see the keyword. You're gonna go back in the story and then you're gonna highlight to make sure that answer matches your answer. All right? So don't forget to stay up to date with the latest homework vids. Hit that notification bell and subscribe. Until next time, bye.